Do you like the suffering of others? Do you enjoy countless hours wasted for the sake of a 10-minute video? Then you'll enjoy Wild Tiled, my wilderness-focused tileman account. I'll be starting in Pharaoh Enclave and explore wilderness activities and Gielinor, 1000 XP and 1 tile at a time. Sorry for the delay on this episode. I've been sick and haven't been able to find the drive to play or edit very much. But anyway, let's discuss what the plans are for the rebuild. The biggest thing we lost by dying was our iron axe, that we got as a 1 out of 64 from skeletons. While we could go for another as a drop, I realized we are going to be dying a lot, and need access to multiple vendors so as to be able to train and gain tiles even after death. With this in mind, the rebuild became less about specific items and more about unlocking the ability to train as many different useful skills in our area as possible. Our first goal was to get some law runes from an ice warrior to be able to teleport to Lumbridge. By acquiring tiles in Lumbridge, we can get access to Bob's axes, providing not only steel axes but also bronze pickaxes, unlocking mining. We then head towards Mage Arena, acquiring the anvil nearby, unlocking ready access to law runes and smithing training. Through smithing training, 3 different skills will be unlocked: range through throwing knives, construction through nails, and crafting through silver and gold bars. With a way to train crafting, we will finally be able to create teleportation jewelry, unlocking quick access to various locations across Gielinor. After the Mage Arena and Port Sarim, our tiles will go towards making a path to the Wilderness Bandit Camp, allowing easy cooking and fishing training. Here's the first significant change in plans. Instead of going through Burthorpe to unlock herbalism, we will instead move our house to Taverley, letting us do druidic ritual at far less tile cost. After herbalism is unlocked, I will consider the rebuild officially complete, and we will return to our original goals of getting overhead prayers through lava dragons and continuing the Slayer grind. Our current task being lesser demons. Before we start, let's discuss the elephant in the room. If anyone's been paying more attention than me, you may have noticed an increase in 26 tiles since last episode. Between being PK'd and ending my play session for the day, I chose to swap to a different account for the sake of scouting paths for the rebuilds. While this didn't affect my tile count at the time, apparently after this, when I would then return to Wild Tiled the next day, a bug would occur. A small section of tiles between the obelisk and chaos altar would be refunded to me for some reason. This wouldn't normally be a big deal, but I didn't pay attention to my tile count while fighting lava dragons, and as a result, didn't notice the sudden jump in tiles. In fact, I wouldn't notice till I was editing this episode. A large amount of time was spent playing with these tiles I hadn't earned. While I don't want this to invalidate the account, I'm not sure how to go about paying penance for something I wasn't aware of for so long. All I can do is apologize for not noticing sooner and ask you guys for your opinions on the matter. With that out of the way, let's get into the episode. And this is a big one, 55 fletching. With this, we can now make broad bolts, which are going to be our main ammunition for Slayer once we get our range high enough and get a rune crossbow. Level 41 fire making and 425 total level. 45 fire making. We can now burn maple logs. 63 woodcutting. And that's 50 fire making. We can now do Wintertod once we have a games necklace. That'll be crazy good tiles if we want them. Alright, time to make our path to not only the Mage Arena, but also the anvil nearby. Having easy access to law runes and not having to rely on monster drops is going to be so useful once we return to lava dragons. And with the pull of this lever, we enter the Mage Arena for the first time. This is not only rune access, but eventually we will be doing the quest for the capes and staffs. Time to make our way towards the ores, so that way we can make use of the anvil. We're going to be using this mine over here as it has access to various ores and is fairly close to my forge, relatively anyway. Level 2 mining, first mining level. Level 5 mining. Incoming first smithing level, level 2 smithing. Level 6 mining, we can now use a steel pickaxe. Level 10 mining. Level 11 mining, we can now use a black pickaxe. And our first trip at the anvil. I'm gonna start with bronze nails, level 5 smithing, and 450 total level. So what we do is after we finish the inventory, we break down the looting bag and we just pick up all the bronze bars on the ground and we get a second inventory out of it. Helps make the trips a little better. Level 7 smithing, that gives us throwing knives. And here's our first of many ranging levels. Level 5 range. Gonna go ahead and swap back to the better of the two hats. Level 15 mining, we can now mine iron. Level 10 smithing. Level 12 smithing, we can now make bronze kites. And there's another easy task out of the way by mining this iron in the wilderness. Level 10 range. Level 13 range, switching to safe spotting the skeletons. Level 14 range and 475 total level. 15 range. Level 18 mining. 19 mining. 20 mining. We can now mine silver. Level 15 smithing. We can now smelt iron, so we can swap to those bars once we're done with these knives. Level 21 mining. Level 16 smithing. We can now make our own iron axes. 17 smithing coming in. We can now make iron maces as well. Level 25 mining. 18 smithing coming in. And 19 smithing as well. We can now make iron nails, which we'll use for our first bit of construction XP soon. 20 smithing. We can now make silver bars, which will allow us to do crafting training in the future. And 500 total level. For anyone interested, this is how we go about getting planks for our construction training. We're just gonna grab these 2 planks and hop worlds over and over. Level 44 HP. 64 woodcutting, back to fletching and woodcutting for the tiles. 56 fletching. Alright, we have now officially reached 1,000 tiles total unlocked, which means the cost of tiles, as you can see, has now increased to 2,000 per tile. It's gonna take a lot longer to get where we want, but we'll do it either way. Time to make our path to the Varrock real estate agent to not only get our first house, but also our first saw. Alright, and we have our first home. Time to start construction training. The first piece of furniture of many. Level 2 construction. Level 4 construction, we can switch to bookcases. Level 5 construction, we can make a kitchen. That'll come in handy soon. 6 construction. We can now make wooden shelves. Let's discuss what we get through the portal. We get the crafting shop nearby, as well as down here, the fishing shop and cooking shop. Both will be very useful. And then the charter ships, which will let us start crafting training on the account. Level 8 construction. We can now make wooden chairs. Level 9 construction. We can make a larder once we have a kitchen. Go ahead and buy one real quick, though we don't have the tiles to move into it yet. Gonna go ahead and make sure to rotate it to make it the easiest for me to train with. and level 10 construction. We can now make a dining room. First larder with level 11 construction, level 14 construction and rocking chairs, 15 construction. We can now make a workshop, as well as a tool bench and a tool store, which will give us saws once we get oak planks. Back to fletching and woodcutting. Level 65 woodcutting, 66 woodcutting, 59 fletching. Just trying to get some tiles, so that way we can move on to our next activity. 67 woodcutting and 60 fletching. We can now fletch yew logs, so we'll go ahead and get access to that tree. Alright, there's our first set of logs. Go ahead and fletch them into our first bit of XP from yews. And this is the current cash stack out of all this tile grind, 119k. And it's time to finally make our way to our various locations in Port Sarim. The fishing shop is going to allow us to both get fishing tools and feathers for fletching. The cooking shop will allow us to get chicken and cow meat, which is needed for Druidic ritual. And the charter ships will allow us to start crafting, which will eventually get us access to teleportation jewelry and gear in general. And we'll go ahead and get access to the crafting store as well, so that way we can get both the holy mold and tiara mold. Alright, this is how it'll work. We'll get a trip of this and teleport back. Level 2 crafting and 525 total level. Level 4 crafting, we can now switch to candle lanterns. Level 5 crafting, we can now make gold rings. Level 6 crafting, we can now make some bling. Level 10 crafting, that's bowstrings and crossbow strings, those will be useful. 12 crafting, swap to oil lamps. 13 crafting coming in. Level 15 crafting and 16 crafting. This is the important one. We can now swap over to making holy symbols with the silver ore we have nearby and are no longer reliant on the minigame teleport in order to level crafting. Level 17 crafting. 21 smithing coming in. 20 crafting. We can now make sapphire jewelry. 22 crafting. We can now make sapphire necklaces. That gives us the games necklace that we've been looking for. And we can swap to tiaras with this 23 crafting. 29 mining and 550 total level. Level 22 smithing. That'll let us make iron knives when we go back to range training. With that book, we finally have level 3 agility. Getting very close to level 10, which is what we're going for. 30 mining. We can now mine coal and do motherlode mine if we ever unlock it. 25 crafting coming in. And with 27 crafting, we can now make dueling rings, which is the other piece of teleportation jewelry we were after. So for now, we're going to call the crafting grind and go back to fletching and woodcutting for the sake of tiles, so that way we can eventually unlock fishing through the bandit camp. Unfortunately, fletching is still our fastest way of getting tiles, but we'll make do. We'll just head to this obelisk and wrap our way around. However, this is going to be where we call it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you can show your support by leaving a like or a comment down below. Have a good one.